Inside episode 36 on Outsourcing Live, a leading director and producer of hit shows on BBC, MTV, and Channel 4 shares with us how easy it is to use the revolutionary iPhone 4 to record high-definition videos for YouTube. In addition, I'll reveal a neat tool towards the end of this episode that will let you increase your iPad's capacity from 64 gigs to 500 gigabytes. Alright, let's play it.
Want to get tons of leads from YouTube without breaking a sweat? Outsourcing.
Go again.
This is Outsourcing Live with Tyrone Shum. Outsourcing the hard stuff so you can focus on the fun stuff.
Hey there, welcome to the next Outsourcing Live podcast. Wow, it's been a very, very busy week for me and also for my team as well. And there's just been so many great things that have been happening. I'm actually looking right now for another video editor and just going to be looking at boosting our quality of the video. So I guess if you keep watching the videos on YouTube on Outsourcing Live, you'll probably start to see some changes. Plus a little hint here, I'm actually going to be moving into more of a video SEO type of thing. So you probably might be seeing a launch for some other channel or some other type of video stuff that I'll be sharing with you, because a lot of our clients and corporate people have been asking us about this information. I thought, why not start sharing it with anyone that's listening to this podcast? And also to, if you've been listening to me on the YouTube channel or watching me on YouTube, I actually wanted to share all that information there. So in the future, you probably might see some new videos that are coming up on about that, and check out the new type of style of video editing. But I thought, let's me share with you some of the interesting stories that have been happening with regards to the journey of finding video editors and also finding the right staff in place. And it's never easy, I can just assure you that. If you've been struggling with looking for the right team members or the right staff for your business, I can assure you I go through those challenges all the time. And this time around, I was going to actually go through a service finder to be able to find the video editor, but this time around I actually wanted to look for it for myself, because I personally need to actually know what exactly the quality is. And it's very difficult when you're trying to convey to someone what type of creativity, what type of video production quality you're looking for. It's kind of a bit hard to actually get someone to do that. So I've actually taken the responsibility to find that person right now. And you're going through Elance, Odesk, bestjobs.ph, and a few other sites, and I've posted out a listing there to be able to find the right person. And I've been really, really targeted. I said it's got to be from someone from the Philippines, and I've even given a salary range for that. And I've had a few people apply, and also I've submitted a few applications out to people. And I've had some really good responses, and I've also had some people who have been mediocre. Now, it's great when they come through and we arrange interviews, but what really, really stuns me or amazes me is that when I've specified to them to have a video camera and also mic ready, they come on an interview and tell me they don't even have any of that. It just goes to show how either one, they're just not responsible and they're not also reading the emails correctly. And immediately, straight away, by seeing that, I just said, nope, I'm not going to be interested. So that's a big tip for you. If they come onto a call and thinking that they're going to be able to type on Skype and just chit chat with you during an interview, definitely do not hire them. I've had my experiences of that, and in the past it hasn't worked. And what was worse about it was I said, look, anytime I have an interview, it's always got to be face-to-face on Skype. So you've got to make sure you have a video camera on, and also you've got to have as well a microphone so I can actually see you. That way I can actually see the body expressions, I can see who they are and talk to them as though I'm really there with them. This particular person, I won't mention their name, actually came on Skype and said, yep, I'm ready. I'm going to talk to you via Skype. And I said, yeah, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to actually proceed with this interview. And I'll just say thank you very much for applying for this job. Before I actually left that, he said to me something along the lines of, well, you can go back to Odesk and find all these nasty other video editors and, good luck with that. And I was like, that is just so unprofessional. Firstly, you don't have a webcam. And secondly, you don't have a microphone. So who does that reflect? And I didn't want to rebel or anything like that, but it just bored me up. And I was like thinking, these type of people should not even be applying for these type of jobs, because it could ruin someone else's business and reputation. So a big tip there for you is, if you're looking to hire any staff, it doesn't matter if it's a video editor, virtual assistant, or any of that, make sure that when they do come onto Skype, that they present to you with a webcam and microphone so you can actually meet them and greet them over Skype if you're doing it virtually. And make sure that they do send through some sample work and some resumes. So that was my little interesting week for that. Besides that, I've had some great people apply for this position, and I'm very, very excited to actually select one. So I'm going to be waiting until Monday or Tuesday this coming week to see the review work before I can actually give them a go ahead, because I need to actually test this, make sure that they are living up to their work. So yeah, very, very excited for this, and I just wanted to share that with you. All right. I've got a very exciting interview, as always, on Outsourcing Live. And this one's a little bit different because I was actually speaking to this person. He actually approached me. He's a producer, director, and also cameraman. Has worked for like BBC, all MTV awards. He's done like TV shows such as The Biggest Loser, Pimp My Ride, all those big shows that you see on all the British channels. And I was like, wow, thank you so much for contacting me. And he actually wanted to share with me some really cool ideas about how you can use the iPhone 4 to be able to record some amazing quality videos. And nowadays, with Apple's technology, especially on the brand new iPhones, the new iPads, and so forth, you can actually capture some really amazing videos just by using that device. I mean, you might even need to go and buy a SLR camera if you're on that kind of budget, because people can't really quite tell the difference. I mean, if you want to go for a little professional and you want to take it up to that next level to get up to the quality of where the cinemas are, yeah, then definitely invest in a DSLR. But to start off with, if you've already got an iPhone 4, you can actually utilize that tool right now, that device, to be able to record some amazing videos, which you can use to actually promote your business and furthermore promote whatever else you're doing for sales pages, opt-ins, and so forth. So I thought this is a great opportunity to be able to share with you from a person who has used this successfully with his clients and also have been testing it and now is actually offering the specific information on what he does, on how he does it. So I'd highly recommend, if you're listening to this on a podcast, come back also over to YouTube channel, because Jules, which is his name, will actually show you on video what type of things he's using, because you can't actually obviously imagine these things. But definitely come and have a look. And as I said, this is a very, very exciting interview because he has come from a huge experience of 10 years plus. So let me introduce you to Jules Watkins. He's the producer, director, and also cameraman of a lot of amazing shows. And I'm really, really excited to have him on the call because he's going to share with you some really, really amazing stuff. So let's get straight into it.
Hey Tyrone, thanks very much for inviting me. I've watched you for a long while, so it's great, an honor actually to be on the podcast with you.
Thank you. It's absolutely an honor because you've come from a very, very amazing background in as being a director of TV shows and so forth. So I'm actually even more honored to actually have you on the call. So,
nice.
So for the people who don't know your background and what you currently do, or actually let's take a step back, talk a little bit more about your background first before we jump into what you're currently doing. So yeah, share a little bit of history about where you came from.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm going way back, really. I've worked I started off in photography. I was really obsessed with photography, and that's what I wanted to do. So I kind of worked my way through photography. I ended up doing some crazy stuff. I was at one point assisting a photographer doing like still lifes. Next minute, I was in former Yugoslavia covering some of the troubles, about 10, 12 years ago. So yep. I did a fair range of photography. But photography actually led me into television because I was always interested in doing television as well. And at that particular point in time, things started to get quite multi-skilled in television. And they were looking for talent that could not only shoot well, but also direct and produce. And you'll be amazed, some of the shows that you watch, particularly in the UK, even on primetime TV, are actually self-filmed by the director. So there's a lot to think about. But I managed to break into TV. And I worked my way up through that. It took a long time because it's very, very competitive.
Yes.
But I ended up being able to do what I really wanted to do, which was direct some really good shows. So I've directed shows like Pimp My Ride, which is obviously a massive MTV show, yes. And Biggest Loser, which is a show that I know that you get down in Australia as well.
Yes, that's right. That's a
sort of worldwide hit. That's a big show. And the other one that I found really fun was Don't Tell the Bride. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a BBC show where a groom has to organise the entire wedding for his bride in a month. The bride is kept locked away, doesn't see any of the decisions like the church or the dress and whatnot until the actual wedding day.
That could be a disaster. That could be a disaster.
It often is. Plenty of tears and traumas and tiaras and all that stuff. So Most of the stuff that I've done has been in the kind of entertainment, reality, kind of non-serious kind of TV. So did a lot of that, but it takes its toll. It's really
Mm,
hard work, and you're traveling a lot. And I got young kids now, and I started getting really fascinated by the ability to self-create content because
yes.
now all these barriers have come down. And I don't own any of these reality formats.
Mm,
I just go in. I'm a gun for hire. Yeah, go
yeah.
in, 12-week contract, out again. I've done that for years. Short contracts. So I started thinking, and in fact, watching people like you kind of creating your own content and other people in the space thinking, hang on a minute, I could actually create my own brand or the equivalent of my own shows and maybe package them up and sell them as products. So that's what I'm kind of focusing on right now.
Nice. Firstly, when you started directing and working with these TV shows, how have you taken that knowledge from there to be able to put into, say, for example, what you do out right now, which is using the iPhone? How did that come about?
All right. Well, actually, it's not such a big leap as you think because, as I was mentioning before, a lot of TV is self-shot,
Mm,
and people coming into TV coming from all kinds of backgrounds, and people with like English degrees and philosophy degrees end up getting jobs in TV. And I found that I was actually helping them improve their skills. Now they would come in, and because of the fast nature of TV, within about a few weeks, they would be given a camera and said, "Quick, there's no one else around. Go and film this crisis that's going on with this person." And there you
whoa.
go, off you go. And their work was ending up on TV. So I started answering a lot of questions for newcomers. So I got into the training side of it from that. And then, I mean, the iPhone side of it has just come about really because I love the convenience, and even in television, cameras are getting smaller and smaller,
Oh,
and it's all
really?
about really, yeah, cameras. You'd be surprised. Some of the sort of top shows are shot on. There are camcorders, but they're not like big shoulder-mounted ones. They're that sort of size camcorders. So kit's becoming smaller, and I've used massive cameras, and they break your back. A lot of cameramen
Yeah.
retire early with like back injuries. So the fact that cameras are coming smaller and smaller is absolutely great because I love the fact that the iPhone, like the one right here, is so portable, and you can literally just that and a few other accessories can put in your coat pocket. You can go off, and you're always ready to like shoot video, whether it's an interview or you see something crazy going on in the street, and you could grab that, and it's always on you. And I just love that convenience, having spent years carting around 10 boxes of equipment.
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing. The trick is how do we capture some good videos on reasonable cameras? Because the thing is I used to have a Kodak ZI-A when I first started, and my quality was okay.
Like this one, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's the exact one that I've still got.
I got a lot of stuff around here, Tyrone. You better watch out. It's like a camera store here.
I've got to make sure I be careful.
I'll give you a good deal.
Like with those particular cameras, for example, the quality wasn't as top notch as what we see with regards to, say, using a Canon T3i, which is what I currently use. And I presume it's definitely the lens that makes a huge difference. And I bet you got to pull out a Canon T3i now.
Well, would I do that to you? Actually, it's a Canon 60D,
There
but a
you
very
go.
very similar camera.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the next model up to mine. How did I guess? You've got every single piece of equipment there. So, like with those with those kind of cameras, and sorry, I've just got something in my throat. But yeah, with those kind of cameras, it's kind of amazing to be able to see the big quality difference. And I think a lot of people who have seen my cameras or my videos in the past have seen a dramatic shift from using a Kodak ZI-A to, say, a Canon T3i or Canon 60D. Excuse me. So I think the thing is to make it so much easier and faster for people. How have you been able to sort of put that into a package? Because I know with the iPhone, it is limited to just that. And then also you're using an internal microphone. How have you been able to capture that kind of quality that people see online?
Well, actually, there's surprisingly not as much difference as you think between one of these and one of these, because the new iPhone 4S shoots in full HD 1080p quality, so excellent quality. And don't forget that a lot of times, particularly if you're in controlled situations, like if you stick that on a tripod, right,
Mm,
and you're filming against your lovely white background like you do in your videos,
yeah.
right, And if you put this on a tripod, you're not really using all the features of this camera. Yeah, you're not worried so much about the camera moves and the zooms and hand holding it. It's a static kind of shot, right? So
Yeah.
if you frame this up and frame this next to it, and you light the scene, light is key to all of this. That's the food and drink of these cameras. Yeah,
Yeah.
light. So if you light it and you put these together, the image quality is not that discernible, particularly as you're ending up compressing it
Yeah.
and you're watching it in a reasonably small window on YouTube. I've seen videos where it's hard pressed to tell the difference, in fact. So this is like your base unit, and it's really how you use it, and particularly thinking about things like lighting, very, very important, and also audio. And a lot of people don't realize that you can actually use microphones with this iPhone.
Yeah.
And here's a little lead here, which very important lead, which you can actually use, because the iPhone has this, which is the microphone in and headphone out socket. So, when you're doing these voice calls, you're speaking into a microphone and you're listening to this person on the other end of the phone.
Oh, yes.
So this socket can do both. So using a converter, you can actually plug in all kinds of microphones into this, whether they're wired or wireless microphones. So most people don't realize that you can actually record pretty good audio on this, as long as you use an external microphone.
That's the trick to it. And I guess I should mention, for the people who listen to this on the podcast, both Jules and I were actually showing to each other the cameras. We have a Canon 60D, which he was pointing to, and also the iPhone 4S. So he was just talking about the iPhone 4S, saying that we can actually plug in a microphone, just in case you can't picture this, because you gotta if you listen to this on the go wherever you are, it's a little bit hard to
better come and check the video later to see all the fun.
Exactly, we're having too much fun on camera. What's amazing though is, because just by looking at those simple things, there's a contrast in size. Obviously the Canon's much bigger, like maybe about 5 or 6 times larger than that. But what I'm really curious is, once you've got that, a lot of people struggle is, how do you get that format from the iPhone, or say for the cameras, back onto your computer into quality where people can actually see on YouTube?
Oh, well, there's all different ways. I mean, the great thing about the iPhone, which you don't get with the pocket cameras, is the apps and the fact that it's connected. It's a connected device. So, even inside the video app, and there's a connection to share to Facebook. You can basically upload from the camera. And also there's another app that's called Filmic Pro. A lot of filmmakers use it. It's on the App Store. And again, that gives you a whole range of settings, so you can upload to various places at full resolution. Also, you can get like the Dropbox. I know you mentioned Dropbox, and I think on your blog for outsourcing, you can get a Dropbox app. So again, you can literally, you can walk back into your home with your videos, and it can start uploading from your phone up to Dropbox for your outsourcer to grab it. You see,
grab it, and then they start editing it.
Yeah, they can start editing it. Yeah, or obviously you can use iTunes, to upload it into there. Or I use iPhoto. I store my videos in iPhoto, and you can play them inside iPhoto, and then you can basically, if you've got something like Final Cut Pro 10, which is the latest sort of Apple software.
That's getting a bit more technical there for some of the users.
Getting very too much. But or iMovie, you can literally import them straight in there, do your little fancy editing, and put your bumpers in, and whack it up to YouTube. So basically, you can basically get 1080p. That's full HD onto YouTube, and shoot it on your iPhone. So not a problem at all.
Man, I'm just blown away by the quality that you can get with those kind of devices, especially when you're watching 1080 HD. And I'm right now, I've got my iMac, which records in 1080 HD, and plus my normal camera, which is the Canon T3i, records in 10 HD. And I'm like thinking, then what's the point of me spending that much money on a good quality camera compared to buying like just iPhone, when an iPhone could cost me only a few $100s?
Yeah, well, you may even get one. I mean, I get one free, because I'm in the UK. I don't know about where you are. If you're on a contract, they just upgrade it for free.
That's right.
So yeah, my iPhone is literally, I've never paid for an iPhone. They give it to you part of the contract. So absolutely, I'm all in favour of using the camera that you've got, because a lot of people, as you said, they think I've got to save up for this camera, and I don't want to get into doing video. And my view is just kind of go for it, and if you can operate this well, and you can sort of think like a director. That's where I come into this, right? It's how you use it. It's thinking about, what shots you use, what background. A lot of people, you might have a great camera, but if you don't think carefully about your content and about location and about how to get your message across, it doesn't really help you. So if you're really clever with this camera, you can do amazing things,
Yeah, well, actually, let's talk a little bit more about talking about directing, because you've got a lot of experience in this side of things. If, say, for example, I was just a beginner who's starting out on YouTube and wants to present stuff that I really am interested in, a particular topic. I don't know, what topic can we talk about today? maybe we could talk about presenting dog training. I don't know, or maybe a reality TV show.
Good.
Yeah, dog training would be a good one.
Good. Yeah,
dog's a good one. How would you start with the iPhone? Let's just take it straight back down to the real bare basics. How would you start with the iPhone?
Yeah.
What would you do? Those kind of things.
Well, that's a really good point you talk about that, because a lot of the people in the space talk about shooting in the studio against the white background and that kind of stuff, which I think is great, because I think if you're a marketer and you want to be able to create quick videos and you're at home, I love the white background look. In fact, I teach in my training how to do the white background look on the iPhone. I think that's great. But then I keep meeting other people who are either in other kind of businesses or they're marketers who are helping other businesses. And it just doesn't cut it having the white background, because it doesn't relate closely to what they need to do. So I'm all in favor of using, looking at what's the most interesting part of your business and using it. Now, like, you can't go wrong with dogs, right? Because they're cool, yeah? They move around. They do funny things, yeah? So I would say, with dogs, you want to see a lot of cute dogs, because you're going to try and appeal to these dog owners, right?
Yep.
And I would go, and what I would do is, as opposed to just, well, you can go onto YouTube and search for dog shows, but also check out your TV, because I personally think a lot of people, they kind of look at TV and think, oh, it's a bit old school, it's dying, and, web is where it's all at. On the other hand, people say, well, YouTube is the next TV, and a lot of TV companies are getting onto YouTube. So we're seeing this kind of synergy. And I think that as a web video creator, you can learn a lot by watching TV in a new way. So I would hunt out a doggy training series, and you could probably find it online, but it probably originated on TV, and go and see, like, what do they do that makes that show so compelling? Now, people in TV are masters at keeping your attention, because basically what I realized from TV is I was marketing all the time, really. I was marketing a show to an audience, to make them stay with it, watch the ads, come back after the ads, and basically keep their attention. And, the whole of TV works around that kind of commercial premises. Well, most TVs works around that kind of commercial notion that you need to grab a lot of fans, you need them to watch the ads, right? So you can learn a lot by seeing how does TV move the show along. So I would say one thing to think about is shot changes. If I was shooting of dogs, I'd be looking to frame up as many different kind of shots. The big mistake people make is they just stand there still, and they just think like, I've got the shot, let's see what happens. Whereas I can show you right now, if I was shooting a reality show, I am constantly moving. I'm constantly getting around my subject, looking for these beautiful details. So with a dog, you want to get close up of the face, the tail wagging,
everything.
And you want to exactly.
I'm watching Jules right now move around like crazy.
Oh right. Oh, you're on a podcast. Yeah, you can't see my hands like fluffing around. But well, imagine a dog and the dog's tail wagging, and I'm moving my camera, so I'm getting a shot of the tail, shot of the dog. I'm panning up to get a shot maybe of the trainer that's about to talk. So basically, you don't have the zoom lens. So what you do is you zoom with your body. You're responsible for getting in close, for pulling back. Because what you really want at the end of the day is a range of shots, so that firstly, it will edit together. Because when you edit, you need to have different kinds of shots to edit together with.
But
are
you actually recording these separately, or are you recording this all in one go? Like, are you just stopping and starting?
Well, if you were trying to cover like a session of somebody doing something in a one continuous action, absolutely, you don't want to be starting, because you're going to miss when the dog barks, or you're going to miss something. So if you're trying to cover it in a more of a reality style, you want to just literally keep going with it, keep the movement. Don't overshoot though. When it gets dull, you'll notice that there'll be dull moments that just aren't really happening. You're going to stop then, because you don't want to end up with too much footage. But if it's a continuous thing, particularly with a dog where it's very unpredictable, I'd keep rolling on it. That's one way to do it. And then that kind of footage could be, for example, intercut with a more static interview. Because if you notice in TV, you'll have like the backbone will be an interview,
Yep.
telling the story, explaining it, and then the cutaways will be all the great kind of movement that will keep you interested. So you can do the same with your web videos. Like if you're a dog trainer, sit down, record yourself doing an interview. 10 minutes of you speaking about your business, right? That's step one. Step two, train. Well, either film yourself, your dog, or go and get someone to, train them to shoot as well.
Yep.
And get them to shoot you and your dog. And just keep in mind what I just said about keeping it all, varied. Get some great music, stick it together, and your video is going to stand out a mile, because a lot of people just settle for stick it on a tripod, stand there rather static, and deliver the whole piece. So immediately you're taking your videos like up a notch.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that means that then in this kind of instance, you will definitely need someone else to help you. You can't do this all yourself on a tripod, which makes it a little bit different, right?
Yeah, what you can do though is you can do, for example, cutaway shots of your dog. Say you're talking about, I've always loved dogs. Why did I get into dog training? Because I've loved dogs since I was a child, and I've got 5 dogs, and you can obviously get all those cutaways. That's part of the story. When it comes to you and your dog, absolutely, either you put it on a tripod, or I suggest that you basically get somebody, get a friend or somebody to come and help you out, and get them to go inside my training.
Yeah.
Because I actually cover this. I do something. It's not dog training, but I actually work with a fitness trainer, because I realised a lot of fitness people want to use video, and there's a lot of movement in fitness.
Yes.
And again, it's the same situation where you need different kind of skills. The studio skills are great for your pieces to camera when you want to do some sort of to camera training, but also develop some other skills about how to do interviews and how to shoot action and shoot cutaways and that kind of stuff.
That's really interesting. So what kind of different methods are there to shoot? Like we talked a little bit more about interviews just then. What other methods can people do with, say, for example, using just a simple iPhone?
I think where the iPhone is great is for just sort of impromptu events that you might see. It's really crazy, but you talk a lot about YouTube marketing. And I think you've got to be aware that even if you say there's some amazing flood just happens or something like that, and you're walking down the street and you get this massive rainstorm, it might sound like not relevant to your business, but even silly little things like that, I notice on Facebook, like if I publish something a bit out of the ordinary, a bit quirky that just stands out, you get a lot of social interaction around that, and you can link it in. You can always find a little line to sort of link it into, or you could say, I was off to my business meeting when I saw this crazy thing, and here it is. And again, it's all about just trying to stand out, because there's so much stuff going down your news feed, and there's a lot of PowerPoint slides and stuff like that, which I'm not.
That's a bit boring, in my opinion.
Or little quotes about how your life should be better and all that. But I just think if you've got something a bit quirky, it can work. That's another thing you can do with it. I think we talked about interviews, but customer testimonials, very, very good, because it's very spontaneous. In the sort of corporate video world, they kind of plan and produce all these testimonials, and they have to hire a big crew and get everybody lined up, and it's all very artificial. Whereas with this, if you meet somebody, I go to a lot of meetups in London, and if you meet somebody that's bought your product and they're telling you like, oh, cool, I bought your product, it's great. Well, you just get out your iPhone, and again, podcast people, you got to check this video, but you can, get little lights and stuff, because obviously meetups are challenging shoot situations. They're dark, they're noisy. This is a little LED light I'm just showing here. It's a little square LED light. It's about $10-15, and a little bracket. So you can turn your little iPhone into a little rig if you want to.
Cool. So you carry that with you most of the time when you go out to those places?
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? No, the thing is that this little light and this little camera can literally fit in a coat pocket, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. Like if I was taking my Canon, apart from maybe getting mugged on the subway, I wouldn't, because I think, right, if I'm going to take this Canon out, firstly, a lot of people don't like it when you bring out cameras like that, particularly if you're shooting like in a hotel or somewhere like that, people can actually get the
See,
security out and say, who's this paparazzi dude like shooting in our foyers? Whereas if you're just holding your phone, like nobody notices or cares, right?
because
They think they
everyone's
can't
got
be
the
shooting
same.
in.
Yeah, everyone's
Yeah,
got
yeah,
one of
no,
those around.
it's just exactly. They just think, oh, family, family holiday snaps or whatever. So I just love the fact that you can be spontaneous with it and capture the videos and just maybe add a little light if you want to use a microphone. Again, I'm showing something here. This is a little Ola clip. It's a clip-on lens for the iPhone, which was it was a Kickstarter project, so it was crowd-funded, this device, and this just clips on to the top of the phone. I've got a case on now, so I can't clip it on, but it just clips on, and that gives you a wide-angle lens on one side, and you can turn it around. And
Wow.
sorry, there's the wide angle, and then you can turn it around. You've got a fisheye lens
Oh,
and a macro. So this is great if you're a lot of guys that are doing sport, like say you're a pro skateboarder or something like that. You want to do a bit of video marketing. Well, this little lens there just gives you a wider shot. So yeah, and you get the fisheye look is really cool for like sports videos or music videos and that kind of stuff.
so something like that, just that little lens you just put onto it, it actually enhances the actual lens that's already in the iPhone. Is that what it does?
Yeah, yeah, because the iPhone lens is pretty good, but it's not very wide. So,
Oh,
and also I'll tell you what, for real estate, if you want to do video marketing for real estate, you try and shoot an interior on a pocket cam, it's a nightmare because
it
the
is.
field of view is quite narrow.
Yep.
This gives you the width, so enhancements, and also the other thing is, of course, the apps. I mean, this is the thing about the iPhone, whereas I don't know if you know, but recently Kodak announced they're not going to produce any more pocket cameras,
Yep, that's right.
right? That's happened. And obviously, we know that Flip died a death as well. But
Unfortunately.
people are investing in smartphones and iPhones in general. So, for example, there's a lot of good apps coming out. There are, which I feature in my training, like there are apps that can actually edit your video together. And they're using like voice recognition and sound recognition. So they're cutting to the beat of the
Oh,
rhythm of the soundtrack. Everyone's looking for this automated editing. Now I know there are things like Animoto. I'm not a huge fan of Animoto because it's kind of slideshows, and I don't think it converts very well, to be honest. Whereas real footage is great, and if you can get apps to help you, which you can, then that's going to speed up your editing process, and you can start to make great videos. And also you can get apps that will push out. You talk on your blog about the fact that on your Canon you can push out the background out of focus
yeah,
and
the
get that
depth
effect
of
where
field.
the
Yep.
foreground's very sharp and the background's out. Well, there are apps that you can't do it exactly, but you can make the corners more blurred. You can draw more attention into the face.
Simply
A
by
lot of
using the
apps.
iPhone, you're saying?
Yeah, well, the iPhone Plus, either a free or low cost app that can
Wow.
actually alter your footage, so you can get Hollywood filters and give it that kind of Hollywood look or the film noir look, or just literally blur out the corners and give it the kind of virtual DSLR look. Not quite as good, but
Yeah.
getting there, So that's what the fun thing is, that you've got all these like fun toys on the App Store that can enhance your video.
So let me just summarize this. Because there's so many things you just shared. That's awesome. You talked about getting a light, making sure like an LED light there. You've also got your iPhone, which you can add those additional lenses, which makes the possibility to actually increase the width of the frame.
Yeah.
And then also to microphone, actually. I don't think we really talked about it in detail. How does this microphone work? Because what I find a struggle is that if you're going to get someone else to hold it, or if you're going to hold it yourself from a distance, what do you do? Do you just buy an external microphone that you just carry on your lapel, like plug it onto your lapel, and then...
Well, surprisingly, I've got something here that you won't see on the podcast, but you'll have to come and watch this. This is a Bluetooth microphone, okay?
Yep.
Bluetooth, so it's a wireless microphone, and this is the receiver. So the receiver clips onto your camera, or you use a bracket. So that's the receiver, and then you use the lead that I showed you earlier, and then this is the actual microphone. So this clips on here. I mean, it's a little big, but it's not too bad. So
okay.
that will send you back. I think it goes like 100 meters. So this is brilliant if you're like doing fitness and and you want to be moving your arms around a bit like I do,
Yeah.
and you want to send your sound back to the camera. Or great if you're doing, imagine this, doing presentations for your next product, and you're up on stage giving a talk, and you want someone to record it.
Yep.
Well, you're just going to wear this. You're going to get your mate to put the iPhone on a tripod. You need to get a case that has got a tripod socket like this one here. And there you go. You're going to actually get video from your presentation, and you're going to get good audio. So you can use anything. Like you can use the mics that you use on your Canon. So you can use these kind of corded mics, which, like this one, gets in a horrendous tangle.
Yeah.
Which I find that this is the downside of these. But you can use like a regular mic with a mini jack socket.
So with those ones that you've got there, is that a condenser mic or is that just a normal regular mic? Because the one that I've been using is a condenser mic, which has a battery. You got to switch it on and off. Because
this is a lavalier, omnidirectional lavalier Audio Technica. A lot of people use these with the Kodaks, ATR 3350.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
You need a special adapter to go into the iPhone. I mean, this is a good starter mic. It's not very expensive. Yeah, you're right. It takes little kind of hearing aid style batteries, and
that's right.
There's no indicator if these are low, so these can go down in the middle of something really important.
Yeah.
Or you can forget to switch it on, and then you'll cry
really
a lot.
Yeah, there's not much you can do about that, unfortunately. So I didn't realize you can't plug those in directly into iPhone. You have to get a special adapter.
No, you need a secret. Yeah, you need a lead, which I mean, there's certain combinations of leads which I go into in the training.
Yep.
But you can use a lead, you can use a splitter, you can even do something which a lot of pocket video shooters don't do, or even Canon shooters. You can actually monitor the audio as you record it, because when you're shooting on a pocket camera, a lot of people shoot, so to speak, blind, as in they can't hear what's going into the camera. So it's not till you get back and you play it, you realize that all those buses going past but sounded like crap. Yeah. Whereas with the iPhone and a couple of an adapter, you can actually use headphones. You can even use the headphones you've got with your iPhone, to actually hear what's actually going into the camera.
So it's
and that just reassures.
Is that like a splitter that you're talking about?
It's like exactly a splitter. I don't have it. That's the one thing I don't have to show you right now. But it's a splitter that then links into a cable like this that basically plugs into the iPhone, and you can monitor the audio. So that's a bonus, because it's really, I mean, I think it's really scary shooting when you can't hear what you're recording, so to speak.
And what's worse is after you've heard it, or actually when you only play it back on your computer, it's too late then, because the post-production is a lot difficult to remove the noise and so forth.
You watch a lot of YouTube videos and all the intentions are good and everything's good, but the audio just ruins it.
Exactly.
It's either the traffic or people shoot in conferences, and the background noise, they don't hear it. I think here's the thing with video, right? When you practice, your ears change. they don't get bigger, I mean. But your ears start to hear stuff that you don't normally hear. And I've worked with lots of professional audio recordists, and they've got amazing ears because they hear everything that you don't hear, but they've developed that. And I think the more you get into video, you start noticing things. So you start noticing like the fan or the fridge, or in TV, I'll tell you, I've had to turn people's fridges off. Some people have got the most noisy fridges you'd ever imagine, and you end up saying, look, sorry guys, we've got to turn off this fridge, and never forget to turn it on again, otherwise you get in massive trouble. But I've actually turned people's fridges off because that whining noise just comes out. I think the more you shoot video, the more you start to listen to the world. Really, it's quite cool.
Yeah, listen to the world. That's absolutely great. I love that. Hey, I've got one question about audio since we're talking about this topic right now. Sometimes when I record, it actually comes out on the left side, which is very common, but we always edit it in post-production to put into mono. Yeah. Is there a device that allows you to record it in both channels, or just record as mono?
Yeah, there is. I can't quite tell you exactly the name. I can probably dig it out, and you could link it up below the video. But there is a device that you can use so that you plug in your mic, which is mono, and it will actually split the audio onto both tracks of the camera, so that it will record that audio onto both tracks, so that your source, your video audio, is already split for you across two tracks. So you can buy a lead that does that. But you know what? I just do what you do. I record it on one track, and then when I'm editing it, I just split it, across both tracks. So you do like this, the mono mix, it's called. So you mid the audio so it goes onto both tracks. And you know what, even in TV we shoot like that. So when I've worked with editors, you know, for hundreds of hours, and one of the first things they do is they just go and mid the audio so that it comes out on both speakers, because it's quite annoying. You're right. I watch a lot of YouTube videos where, you know, suddenly just the audio
It comes
pops out on one, and then it suddenly moves sometimes to the other. Again, that's a little, you know, quite a simple thing to do, but you can get that lead. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference. Cool. Well, we've talked a lot about the different types of equipment and also how we record it on an iPhone as well too. What I'm also curious is we haven't talked about the post-production, which is usually the editing and getting it all up to YouTube and stuff. And personally, I know it takes a lot of time, but for some people, they think, oh, you know, once we've done the video and we get it up there, oh, we'll get it up there as soon as we've finished editing. But what's involved in your experience, and how much time do you really need to spend after you've recorded your videos?
It all depends. I suppose it depends on what you're filming and how far you want to take it, really. Yeah, but
let's say for a 5-minute
you know,
YouTube clip that we want to try and get up there.
Yeah, I mean, I would say there's certain things you can do to your videos to improve them, and that would be just doing a quick tweak of the color balance and contrast. A lot of, like, nearly every TV show you watch doesn't just come straight out of the camera onto TV. They spend a bit of time literally choosing what kind of look and feel you want. And even in really simple software, you've got like add a bit of contrast into it, you know, change the levels or the brightness control if it's a little bit off. I love adding a vignette. You can get a vignette effect in a lot of the packages where you just darkens the corner a little bit and kind of makes you focus in.
That's
so
really nice.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of movies and almost every shot it uses the vignette effect because it just makes the audience focus in. So I would say you can just do a quick pass in terms of, you know, putting some visual effects. Audio, very important, is to actually listen back very carefully to your audio and listen for little problems you might get when two bits of audio join together, little clicks. And one little trick is you can put in, depends on your package, but you can do that on things like iMovie and Sony Vegas is another popular one. It's just putting in a tiny audio transition, just a one frame transition between two audio clips.
Yeah.
And that stops you hearing these kind of click sounds that you get when it cuts between two kinds of audio.
Yeah.
So you can literally go through your cuts and just add that in, and I suppose listen carefully back, make sure the levels are right. And in terms of time, you know, it depends on your video, but I mean, that could take, you know, 15, 20 minutes or something like that to do that. That's aside from cutting it. Of course, that's a whole different area. Like, I think you've got to plan, like, how much time do you want to put into this, or how good is your outsourcer and your editor? Because if you want to keep it simple, you're going to shoot these sort of more video blog style things where it's one long take, you know, and you're going to try and get it right and, you know, not shoot too much. And then you're going to maybe add texts and a little intro and outro. And, you know, that's much simpler because you're basically, the camera work is just, you know, one single shot. But as soon as you start getting into some more sort of faster moving or action and that kind of stuff, then obviously you've got to allow yourself, you know, an hour to cut it or something like it. It, you know, really depends on the video.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the reason why I asked you that was because I wanted to sort of give people a feel that it's not just as simple as recording and then hopefully uploading onto YouTube, because most of the time raw footage isn't as good as what you see on YouTube, and everything that I guess people see on my videos and see on your videos as well have been edited to a certain point, and I usually have it outsourced out to my video editor. For your business right now, Jules, are you currently using anyone to help you with the video editing, or are you currently doing that stuff yourself?
No, I'm doing it all myself, but I think not too distant future I'll probably need to start outsourcing that, and I'll be looking out for a really good editor that gets what I need. But right now, I do it all myself. I do outsource some things like graphics, and I've got a really good WordPress coder from Macedonia. Helps me out on the website of it. But in terms of the editing, now I've been doing it all myself.
Yeah, that's good, because I've seen some of the videos that you've done, and I personally love, because you've directed it really well, because you know what you want and it comes across very, very well, I guess, from all that experience that you've been doing.
Yeah, no, thanks. And I do think that doing one video is really good. A lot of people, they talk about YouTube and creating this massive content, which is great because you're going to get views and you're going to get links and things like that. But but don't forget the one good video can do really well for you. And I was watching this podcast with Andy Jenkins and Joe Polish, and Joe Polish said the difference between being rich and broke can be one good video. The difference between being rich or broke can be one good video. And that really hit home for me, because what I realized is, in fact, if you can make one really good video, say it's the sales video for your product, yeah, or if it's the video for your opt-in, if you can do that really well and make that amazing, and use all these techniques that I show inside the course, really go for it. If you make really one good video, then you're going to get traffic to your blog, your site anyway, most likely, and you've got a list and all that kind of stuff. So you're going to get traffic, and so that one video becomes very powerful, because that can be the difference between people buying your product or not. So as well as creating this sort of consistent video for YouTube, think about how could I make this really, really good video, really cool video that's going to sit there and work for me 24 hours a day and bring me more business.
Definitely. Yeah, it's important to make sure you focus on that, because as you said, one good video can make it or break it for you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's been awesome to have you here on the call, Jules, today, and I really appreciate sharing all this excellent information. And we've talked a little bit more about this course that you've been, revealing bits and pieces of it inside. There's a lot of content that we talked about today, but I'm sure that there's bound to be a lot more other stuff inside the course. So if people want to check out what other things you offer inside this course, how can they get in contact with you or find out more about it?
Well, I would say, firstly, obviously, if you're watching this video, then below this video is going to be a link, I guess, through to my site. Yes. And, check out through the link. It's at ivideohero.com. But, check out the link that will be on the site, and go and have a look at the sales video there and see what I've done. And I've got some examples of videos that either people have made who have actually been through my course, or videos that I've made on the sales page. So check it out and have a look and see if you like what's in it. There's a lot inside there. And I go into a lot of detail, and I've got a lot of lists of accessories, and I go through lighting and audio and the apps. And I've even got some downloadable things like the best questions. We talked about customer testimonials. I've got a list of killer questions to ask your customers to get the best out of them. So I've got a lot of cool things. And I suppose what I've really done is I've packaged a lot of stuff. People think, I can go and find all that out there. But trust me, there's a lot of low quality stuff out there, low quality information, and it's all over the place. What I've done is spent a lot of time collating it and testing it, because believe me, there are some awful apps out there that are not really good. And I just kind of finding the best stuff, packaging it up and making it easier for entrepreneurs and marketers who really short on time but want to make videos.
Excellent. Well, for people listening on the podcast, and also if you're watching this on YouTube, the name of the course is called iPhone Video Hero. And what I wanted to do as well too, just to give you guys an incentive or a little bonus if you decide to purchase through my link, which is right below this video as an incentive, and also it is an affiliate link, just to let you know. I actually will throw in a special course that I've done with my really good friend Gideon Shorwick called Outsourcing Your Video, which actually shows you step by step, which will complement this actually really well on how to be able to outsource these potential videos that you create with the iPhone to a potential video editor that you hire from overseas. So that way it'll save you a lot of time, and I'll throw that in there as well, which is, you'll see the value of that bonus once you see it down below, but make sure you come and visit it on the thing. And just to let you know, this episode is actually episode 36. So I'll make sure I put the link down below, and if you want to check out the show notes, you'll get links to that. And then finally, I guess, Jules, how else can they get in contact with you if they want to get in contact with you or connect with you directly?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm on Facebook, facebook.com/iPhone Video Hero. And my name's Jules, Jules, Jules at ivideohero.com, ivideohero.com. So, yeah, glad to help anyone that wants to get in touch.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll make sure I put those details and links down below on this show notes. And this is episode 36 as well for everyone. And yeah, it's been awesome to have you here today, Jules. And it's a pleasure to also, hopefully we'll be able to get you onto the show in the future episodes as well.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks, Tyrone. And a great bonus. I'm tempted myself, to buy my own course.
Good stuff.
This is Outsourcing Live's Inside Info.
All right, more recently and lately, I've been doing a lot of research on trying to find out how I can increase my iPad's capacity. As you know, if you've got an iPad 2 or 3, or yeah, the new iPad, I think it's limited to starting off about 16 gigs all the way up to 64 gigs of capacity. And 64 gigabytes is quite a lot already if you're only just putting movies and doing just a few things like photos and stuff like that. And most people don't really need to go that kind of capacity. But if you're like me, who actually is going to be using the iPad to take photos, basically what I plan to do is actually download all my photos onto the iPad so I can store it. Because if I'm going to be traveling and on the go, I don't want to be carrying like a MacBook Pro with me and so forth, or MacBook Air. So what I've kind of been doing research is to find out how I could actually store all these photos directly from my Canon DSLR camera and transfer it directly across onto a hard drive, which is able to store up to 500 gigabytes of data. And I don't think I'll be using all that, but it's good to actually have. And while I'm traveling as well, my wife and I would love to be able to sit there and watch like movies and also TV shows and listen to music and do whatever else there. And I can actually have it all stored on that hard drive rather than clog up the iPad. And the iPad is limited to that. Like if you manage to store like say some movies or some TV shows within a short period of about say 64 gigabytes would probably take you up. It would probably take up quite a bit of content, and you'd be already chewed up into that immediately just by downloading maybe say about 20 or 30 movies or so onto that. And you can get through that in a very, very short period of time. As I said, 15 weeks is going to be a long time for us. So anyway, basically what I found is this amazing device, which is a wireless hard drive that can actually link up to your iPad. Currently, the iPad doesn't even have a USB port, so you can't plug anything into it except a camera or maybe an SD card. But the SD cards are also limited to up to about 128 gigs. So that's also limiting in itself. So going up to 500 gigs, I can actually take this portable device with me anywhere and store almost anything on it. Now, let me introduce you to this device. It's actually called the Seagate GoFlex Satellite, and it's purely been designed for iPad and also Android devices, which allows you to be able to link up wirelessly up to this hard drive and stream media across to your iPad to watch it. So if you're portable or mobile like I am right now, I found this device to be really, really powerful and very handy. And I mean, you can spend maybe an extra $200 to upgrade from a 32 gigabyte iPad to a 64 gigabyte hard drive, or put that $200 into spending to buy a 500 gig wireless hard drive. Which one would you do? Personally, I would probably go for the hard drive. So that's the reason why I've done that. And the beauty about this, as I said, is that I can actually store all my photos, all my videos, and everything all on here. And if for any reason, touch wood, I lose my iPad, at least I don't lose everything. You know, I've still got this hard drive that is wireless. It could be sitting in my room and I could be accessing it in another room. And if somebody came and stole my iPad, still got all my storage of all my precious photos and movies all safely there. So it's a really powerful device and I highly recommend to check it out. Now, if you want to find out more about this device, you can visit the show notes on episode 36 here on Outsourcing Live to have a look, and I'll make sure I put a link down there. What I'll probably do is I'll give you the link right now if you want to check it out directly. Here's a direct link for it. It's outsourcinglive.com/GoFlex. Flex spelled F-L-E-X. And you'll be able to see this device all in action. And yeah, you know, I may even create a video for you showing how this all works and how I'm able to take it on a mobile. But it is a really, really powerful tool and powerful thing that you can have while on the go.
Discover more resources to grow your business
inside Mass Outsource Mastermind.
Watch the video tutorials and follow the easy instructions to take your business to the next level. Start your 30-day no-risk trial membership at freevideoset.com. That's freevideoset.com. This has been Outsourcing Live with Tyrone Shum. Outsourcing the hard stuff so you can focus on the fun stuff.